So just over a month ago, Logan Paul posted a video of him buying $200,000 worth of Pokemon cards. And almost 7 million of you watched it. And a bunch of you also acknowledged the storytelling and the editing behind it. How the video got you interested in pieces of cardboard. And how we explored the theme of nostalgia. And that's what I want to talk about. Me editing that video, I want to share the decisions that I made in creating that experience. So hey, hi, hello there. If you are new here, I recommend you subscribe. And if this is the second or third time you've seen me and you're not subscribed, that is the YouTube gods telling you to subscribe. So join everyone else who already has and subscribe. I don't want to waste any more time. Let's just get straight into the breakdown. I actually wanted to establish the theme of nostalgia in this video as soon as possible. That actually was the big question I constantly ask myself. How can I, as an editor, present the same excitement that Logan had when filming this video? And if I was to emphasize that feel of nostalgia, we would relate to him so much more because of it. And so by me opening the video, the first thing that you hear is the same sound effect from the classic Game Boy game when you capture a Pokemon or you beat a trainer. If you played those games, that victory sound is ingrained in our mind and an absolute representation of our childhood. And it potentially being the first time you've heard that sound in years. That nostalgic feeling has just slapped you in the face. And even further pushing on to that nostalgic exploration. That's why we exclusively show old classic Pokemon footage and characters. That's nostalgic. That's why the text conversations are shown in the same way we first meet Professor Oak. That's nostalgic. That's why most times you see a Pokemon card, I play the same Game Boy sound too. That's nostalgic. And through that theme, we now find Logan's story even more relatable. Now, coming back on these visual assets of these videos, I want to talk about how I made these really great images. Actually, I lied. I did not make these. I had a schedule, a deadline. Logan gave me all of this footage and a script and told me to edit it in 4 days. When realistically, I needed at least a week and a half. I've said this on a previous video, always hire a lazy person because they will find the quickest way to do it. I did not have time to build these visual assets from the ground up. I had to be lazy. So all I did was a quick Google search and found a Photoshop template of the Game Boy. I did not create any of those assets. I simply found people who had already done the hard part. I was lazy or optimized. It is incredibly important as an editor to always find ways on how to optimize your time, because it's often impossible to predict where something else is going to demand a lot of it. I was on schedule. Since I just spent what feels like 2 to 3 minutes on just that opening sequence, let's skip ahead a little bit.
So the first thing I did was find an expert.
Crazy, bro. I feel like you're delivering me drugs.
This feels like I'm trafficking a kilo, but like the price is actually probably more than a
That's
kilo
what I'm saying.
by weight.
Look at this, look at this.
Meet Jake, a collectible guru.
Now first, yes, the choice of music is actually really important here. First of all, those plucky strings bring in that interesting, childlike, inquisitive, well, curiosity. So again, I'm already reiterating that theme of nostalgia. But actually, one of the most important moments I want to highlight here was me foreshadowing Logan's obsession with the Charizard. It's also my responsibility as an editor to help you, the audience, develop a relationship with that Charizard. The first point I'm raising is actually something that I mentioned in the previous video that I made with Logan, where I explained I set up an average rhythm or time between cuts. So you then create an expectation of the next cut. So when the timing of that cut is different, when the rhythm is broken, you pay more attention to it. I did that again when showing those series of Pokemon cards. All of these cards are shown at exactly 19 frames, but that Charizard card was shown for over 40 frames. It's considerably longer, and you will subconsciously pick that up, that this is important information. I am setting up a Charizard card as a character itself.
This is beautiful. This is the one?
Yeah, this is the one.
The holy grail of cards. This is a
There we go. We are now again reiterating and developing the character of that Charizard. And it's important for me to point out, that was actually the only conversation that we had in this edit. They talked about many different cards and their values. But if we were to be also developing the characters of Blastoise and Venusaur on top of this video, that would have been a massive risk of making this video bloated. And so it was effective for us to hyper focus on just the Charizard being, well, the MacGuffin of this video. Moving on from that, I actually want to show a little bit of this next scene without the dialogue. I want you to just hear the music track. Listen closely. The timing of this music doesn't make sense. Instruments come out of nowhere, crescendos just happen randomly. It goes against every rule of music ever. It's important to ensure that the music track does not dictate your cuts. I got these dialogue on-screen moments that I wanted in this montage, but the timing of the music track didn't initially match it. And so by me brutally cutting the music track to match the dialogue, and once you are hearing the dialogue, you don't hear the poor timing of the music.
First edition Yellow Cheeks Pikachu, $3,000 card right here.
Don't mind the fighting, dude.
I'm like officially a collector.
As my collection grew, so did my excitement for the hobby. I started watching Pokemon.
By the way, if you do actually want to hear this full sequence with the poorly timed music, I have made a post of it on my Instagram. So make sure you do follow me there, and I will be posting more little cheeky behind the scenes editing there as well.
Slabs on slabs. Look at sign and sketch. Top one. This is the only one in the fucking world.
They filmed for over 2 hours. But coming back to the point of having the option of making Blastoise and Venusaur influencing character in this video, but deciding not to avoid it becoming bloated, this is the exact same reason. There was some great stuff in there, but they would have been subplots that would have bloated this video. It doesn't matter. We're focusing on PSA 10s and a Charizard. That's it. Get out. And again, also speaking of story, this next moment was really important for me to get right. And so when I noticed this really nice little short intimate moment of Logan lovingly looking at that booster box, I saw that as an incredible opportunity to start to develop his obsession for them. So what I did, I chose to use an optical flow and slow down this moment down to 18% of its original speed. And then we now get to witness an extension of that intimate moment that Logan had lovingly looking at those boxes. And from that intimate moment, we cut to the first reveal of the CGI Charizard, like as if we're taking a peek into Logan's imagination for what's potentially in that box. This type of editing is called the KULESHOV effect, where the editing brings meaning from the interaction or cutting together of two sequential shots. Now I hope you remember that earlier in this video I talked about how an editor should optimize their time. It's unfortunate though that I failed to follow my own advice. When I came up with the idea of making these 3D CGI Charizard cards, I arrogantly thought, despite zero experience in 3D modeling, that I could do this myself. I am genuinely curious in developing 3D modeling skills, and so I took this opportunity to do that. But that is actually my mistake. Reminder, I'm under a deadline, and now I'm going to do something that I have zero experience in. So I then spent over 8 hours of time that I didn't have trying to have basic understanding of software Blender. But after those 8 hours, I still couldn't even figure out how to move the bloody camera. I failed and wasted all of that time I did not have. I admitted defeat and hired a genuinely experienced 3D model editor to do this. All I had to do was send him some reference shots, and by next morning he sent me those shots ready to go. That is a great optimization of time that I failed to do. So Joe Murayama, thank you so much for saving my ass. Moving on from that, I actually want to start telling you the story of another big disagreement that me and Logan had when creating this video.
But yeah, at the time, base set booster boxes were going for about $15,000, so I bought one. I liked this little booster box so much, I decided to buy another. And another, and then 2 more.
See, it's the aggressive tone change. I chose to bring in this crime drama type music when Logan is telling everyone that he's buying even more booster boxes, which is not the emotion that Logan felt when buying these boxes. His personal experience was this was even more exciting for him. He was ecstatic to be spending over $15,000 buying these boxes. Now Logan was under the assumption that I would represent that excitement as well, but it's interesting because when I was reviewing the footage, I didn't feel that excitement at all. I personally started getting concerned for him. Most of us don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend on cards. His actions are no longer relatable, so why would I present it that way? And so by me changing the music and representing these scenes with concern and doubt, changes us, the audience's perspective on Logan. And by making audience more so observers, helps us relate to George when he is the voice of reason.
Logan, you're gonna pay $165,000
on something you don't know. No, Logan, you can't do this. This is dumb, bro.
George's questions and his expression of doubt would not have been as engaging or interesting if the sequence leading up to it maintained that childhood excitement. Me and Logan had this discussion, but once I explained myself, Logan then came to understand why expressing doubting concern is actually a far more interesting storytelling direction rather than maintaining that excitement that he was having. It was better for us as an audience to be observers. The rest of the video is pretty self-explanatory. The auction for the cards is happening. I set up some dramatic drums to make it more exciting. Pretty basic, let's move on. There's some talking heads, that's pretty self-explanatory. That pretty much summarizes how I concluded the rest of the video. But the point I want to end on is to actually highlight the fact that Logan's live stream of him opening up this booster box is as of now 10 million views, and a testament to how powerful storytelling can be. Telling and sharing your story is the best way of getting people excited and interested in your life, which is why 10 million people saw it. And that's important to point out because a couple weeks later, there was another live stream of someone else opening a first edition Pokemon box set. However, that was the first appearance of it. It came out of nowhere. He didn't prelude this live stream with a story and him sharing his excitement to what this box means to him. And that's why, as that live stream was happening, only 5,000 people watched it. We didn't care. It wasn't until during the live stream that they discovered that the box was a fake. They got scammed. Because of that, a story was then made. People then got engaged. How you choose to share your story, your journey, will dictate how many people are interested when you get to the destination. And so when, during that live stream, Logan pulled out that Charizard, he reached the destination, everyone lost their fucking minds. And for me, when that happened, who's been also invested in this story, was a genuinely intense emotional experience. It goes to show actually why, even though it's just YouTube content, I genuinely love building and creating these stories. And for Logan to be making these stories and for me to be celebrating and supporting his experiences is such a great privileged job to have. I mean, Christ, I mean, I'm literally off script right now. It's like, Jesus Christ, like I'm getting emotional talking about Pokemon cards. Like, what an interesting world and life this is. But I think it just comes down to just my love of storytelling. I'm genuinely not sure how else I can kind of conclude this video after this like emotional moment. So I think just thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.